Welcome. I'm Eileen McGilrath. We have with us today Lakewood's newly elected City Council member, Ariel Ari Pay. In March, Ari was elected to the Lakewood City Council. At the City Council meeting on April 14th, he was sworn in and began his 4-year term. Council member Pay has been a resident for over 40 years and has been very active with volunteer causes in Lakewood, such as the Rotary Club, the Lakewood Family YMCA, and the Greater Lakewood Chamber of Commerce. Council member Pay is a local business owner, and he and his wife Carmina have a daughter, Natalia. And thank you for being here, Council member Pay. And you do have another member of the family, a new member.
Yes,
Tell us
we
who.
just adopted Ocean.
Okay.
Ocean Pay, nicknamed Opie.
Okay.
She's our new dog that we brought in.
All right.
Yeah, she's a box mess,
Okay.
half boxer, half mastiff. So it's our new land shark in the house.
Right. Well, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
And let's just clarify something here. Your name, Council member Ariel Pay.
Yes.
But what do you like to go by? How do you? like to be
Everybody
called?
calls me Ari. Ari Pay. That's how this whole community knows me. Friends and family know me. The only time I'm called Ariel Pay is when I'm getting in trouble, like by my mom or dad. So, but that's the formal name. But I'm known as Ari.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Well, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's just get right to it. What made you decide to get involved in local government and the Lakewood City Council?
Well, it's one of those things where it was never in my playbook, but one day, as serving as the board chair for the Greater Lakewood Chamber of Commerce, we were doing a grand opening for one of the businesses. And then Council member Steve Croft approached me one day and said, "Hey, come here." I'm like, okay, I'm in trouble. And he goes, "Hey, you need to consider something." I go, "What?" And I was thinking, commission or this, or help me do something. He goes, "No, you need to consider city council." And I was like, "Huh?" And after that, he goes, "Think about it." And then after that, I thought about it, and obviously had to talk to the boss, my wife, Carmina, and Natalia. And I pitched it to them, and they go, "Really? Is that you?" I was like, "I don't know. But look at the things that we're doing in this community and things that we're involved in. Maybe it is us, and maybe this is my calling or our calling. It's not about me, it's about us. It's our calling." You know, so I sat with Steve and we spoke. It was probably a couple years ago, and he laid it out for me. And I'm like, okay. So it was one of those things where it was, again, never my playbook. I'm a business major, I'm a local guy, I surf. You know, I'm not a politician, but I am a public servant. I'll be first to tell you, when you say the word community, I take that word very strongly. Like, if you say you're involved, you're involved. And my family is very, very involved. We're in the granular, we're in the weeds. So I know what it takes to do a lot of these things. So Steve Croft is the one that brought up to me, and Steve and Diane allowed me to ask questions over the course of the years, just tidbits here and there. And again, I wasn't really sold on it, you know, because of the stigma of being a politician or that. But I think what I've learned in this whole process was, I'm not a politician, I'm a public servant. You know, you need something done, I'll get it done. Or you need something, you need help, I'll help you. I'm that guy that doesn't say no. And I have a hard time saying no. I'm a yes guy, and it's so hard to be a no guy, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It'll be
no.
a learning experience.
It'll be a learning experience, but, you know.
It sounds like you went with your gut.
Yes.
You got good advice
Yes.
and went with it.
Yes.
Right?
So, and then, you know,
So no, go ahead. You know, one important thing about that was you were asked to serve on the Lakewood Budget Advisory Group. So what was that experience like for you? Talk about, you know, being a yes man and then no, you know, learning the no's and what that was like. Talk about that.
So like anything, I say yes to everything. Yeah, budget, you know, like numbers and crunching. We're just going to sit and look at these numbers and look at income and expenses. But, you know, that experience was amazing because it allowed me transparency in what really went on in the city, you know. And I know this is the early onset of considering the measure to even be discussed in public, put on the ballot. This is what this committee was about. And being involved in all the organizations that I was involved in, it allowed me, I thought I knew because I knew people, like, you know, the directors and, you know, city council, and allowed me to kind of have a word and give me a little bit of inside scoop. But when I sat in that oversight committee, it allowed me transparency of what happens in the city. And if the measure doesn't pass, what do you take away from? And my
Right.
biggest takeaway from that was, you know, Thaddeus and Paul did an amazing job, and they put the buckets up. They put like public safety, they put parks and recs, they put it all up. And if we don't make money, this is the reason why we're in a structural deficit. What are you going to take away? And when I had to really think about that, I mean, what do you mean take away? Like take away the park systems where I grew up playing flag football and riding my bikes? No. You know, public safety, you know, they're at arm's reach for us when something goes wrong. So it was hard. The exercises I think that they put us through allowed us as the community leaders to think about what was really going on in our city, and it allowed me to have a good, let's call it mini education. And when
Right.
people talk about the measure, why are they going to do the measure? I'm like, well, you want to take away from this, this, and this, and
Right.
this? Well, we need to pass this. So, you know, during my campaign, I was very strongly for it because I'll be the first one to tell you, like, I'm not about taxes. I've been here 40 plus years, and do you think we need it? Yes. It's kind of like when you work. You don't want to work past 5 o'clock, but you have to have quality of life, right?
Right.
I don't want taxes, but we need it to have quality of life here in the city of Lakewood to make sure that we keep the Lakewood way moving, you know. And it was a very eye-opening transparency, but it allowed me to relay messages out. So
Right.
when constituents, or I call them residents, constituents, when they would ask me, I can confidently tell them why.
Why.
And I think it allowed for the community to understand at more arm's reach, because if anything, they had to call in or they're seeing social media posts. But if they can just knock on the neighbor's door and ask, and they can explain it, and I think it was a really good experience to where I got to see, you know, the insides of this
A
city.
crash course in local
Oh yeah, it was
government,
great.
right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So, as a member of the city council now, what do you want to accomplish? What are your passions?
Oh my God, that's a heavy,
Uh-huh.
heavy. So, you know, it's obviously public safety, you know, making sure Lakewood stays Lakewood, but also doesn't get passed up on opportunities. You know, we are evolving, you know, as you can see, like with sales, you know, like retail sales and online sales, we're evolving. I just want to make sure, as the new guy or the new team member or new family person on council, that we don't get passed up, and I'm allowed to bring things to the table, you know. And then programming is very big for me, you know, as a youth and as a senior. And the reason why I'm so strong on those is because as a youth, I had all the opportunities to be a kid here in the city of Lakewood. And I want to make sure that these kids have that opportunity. You know, like bat and ball sports were huge, and skate park, you know, skating and riding bikes in the streets, you know, like that was the future. Now I was the kid, now I'm the future, and my parents are like the seniors. I want to make sure the seniors are not forgotten, because they're the ones that built this community. We got to enjoy it as kids. Now they need to enjoy it as seniors. So I'm a huge proponent of really pushing that youth sector and that senior sector, because one is gonna be the leaders, and one set the pace for them to be the leaders.
So touching on that, you know, there's a lot more to just, you know, city council meetings on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
What other projects do you want to be involved in?
There's so much I want to do, but for me now, this first year is going to be learning. I want to learn from, I call them the family members. I want to learn from Todd, Steve, Diane, Jeff. I want to learn and I want to understand. Todd appointed me to committees.
Right, okay.
Yes,
so talk
he,
about that.
he appointed me to League of Cities.
Okay.
He appointed me to environmental management, audit, and water.
Okay.
But again, like now it's for me to really get in tune with those committees and bring what I know to the table.
Right.
And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not an expert. And thank God I sat with Thaddeus through these times, because he goes, dude, there's no handbook in being a council member. It's kind of like you kind of learn and go, and you just kind of, but you read and you learn from other people to make sure that we make the right decisions. And my goal is to bring a perspective to the table, whether you agree with it or not. To me, it doesn't matter, because as a team, we're going to agree. We're going to walk out of the room agreeing. But my goal is to make sure that that idea is brought to the table.
So let's talk about that, because that's my next question. Coming from your background and your career, What is going to be your process in deciding, there's going to be some difficult decisions headed your way. What is your process in figuring that out, in supporting or not supporting something? I mean,
Well, in the end, it's all about the community. It's about the constituents and the resident. It's funny because, when I look at this, you become city council and you've reached the top. Like people say you're the boss. You're not. The residents are the boss.
you're the public servant.
You're a public servant. So the residents and the constituents are the true people here that guide this community. And my job is to be their voice, to listen, and to take all the information. But in the end, is make the right decision based on history, based on what the people in this community need, and make sure we make the right decisions so we grow overall.
Okay. And let's talk about volunteering. Lakewood is known for its volunteer service organizations, something that is important to you, probably close to your heart. What are your thoughts on that? Tell us about what you've done and what do you think about volunteering?
Oh, volunteering is amazing. I think I was quoted as a chronic volunteer
Oh.
during this whole process. I'm like, chronic volunteer? And then I was talking to my wife, Carmine, I go,
Do I have a problem?
doors are opening. How could we say no? They want us to be involved. Like, how could we not make new friends? So I think volunteering is an amazing, let's just call it a mindset, because, you're putting yourself, you're humbleizing. Is that a word, humbleizing?
Sure.
You take an oath to humble yourself to serve, whether it's through Pathways, through its YMCA, whether it's through Meals on Wheels, whether it's through St. Joseph High School, whether it's through Rotary, whether it's through
You have a long list.
Yes. So
You have a long list.
and what I've learned is, I have something to bring to the table. And that's what I need to bring, because if I don't bring it to the table and nobody does, things will not evolve. It won't. I don't like the word change. I say it's evolving, because if we change, you kind of like go this way or that way. But if you evolve, you're taking history and you're making sure that we keep moving in the right direction. Because when you evolve, you don't always agree with what's going on, but in the end, if you're proven so, you should. You tend to go that way. But volunteering is amazing. It's a way to network. It's a way to get involved. It's a way to meet new people. It's another way to see, like for this community. I mean, there's 30 plus organizations, and if you don't know somebody that's part of a community organization, nonprofit, like you must be in your house not moving. Somebody knows somebody, or here it's like one person is involved in 3 or 4 organizations. Right. But that just goes to show you how giving our community is. When you get to the granular level, when you get to the microns of just that person, your neighbor, they're doing something for somebody, and that's an amazing place to be, especially in this community. And I grew up here, so I don't see it any other ways. And my daughter's grown up in this life of we just give, help, and it's one of those things where she's gonna grow up and she's gonna be a product of a community or this community and give back and have that mentality. So it's amazing. Nice. It's volunteering's rad.
So let's talk about final question, what do you love about Lakewood? What do you think makes this city stand out? And you kind of touched on it in the volunteering, but you grew up here. What do you love about the city?
I think the city has a lot of personality. We're so diverse growing up. When someone asked me this a while ago, and just like the church sector, like we're Catholic. I'm Catholic, strong Catholic. My neighbors are Christian, and then but like they went to church on Sundays all day. I was the guy that went to church at 5 o'clock at night, for an hour. So the diversity of this community of Lakewood is amazing, because you grow up in a place where I can tell you right now, anybody that's grown up in my household, which is a lot of people, they're exposed to the Filipino culture. Mom had a revolving door. You come in the house, the first word you heard is eat, eat, eat. And kudos to my mom and dad. Like, they're the ones that groomed me to be this person who I am, and my brother, So it's one of those things where the diversity of allowing to be open-minded what makes this community really strong, because everybody gets along. I mean, nothing's perfect. Everybody works together. Everybody wants to give back. Just going through this pandemic, the neighbors checking in on the other neighbor that can't grab groceries. What does that tell you? I mean, I hear it in other communities, but when you hear it in your community and then you see people just popping up and saying, hey, I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna help, and they're not being asked. They just do it out of the goodness of their heart. So I feel like this community is this hidden gem, because when you live here, you get in this there's a subculture in this community of Lakewood that where if you open your doors, people will walk in and expose you to other cool things, whether it's volunteering or getting involved in the community or just helping out or just saying hi, you know. So this community is strong. It's very, you know, live, love Lakewood.
Right.
One community, one
Yes.
family. That's my tagline.
Okay.
And that's where it came from, because of me growing up here. I'm a product of this community. It's
Okay.
given me so much as a person. Now it's time for me to give back. And how do I give back? Let me serve, and I'm serving. So that's my goal.
Well, that's great. And we want to thank you again, Councilmember Pay, Ari
you.
Pay.
Yeah,
We've got
yes.
that clear, right?
Yes,
Councilmember
yeah.
Ari Pay.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing with us a little bit about yourself, and we wish you the best in these next 4 years, right?
Yes, awesome. Thank you, and thank you for having me. Now it's time to get to work.